the world had little chance of finding out, as he did just 2 gigs and then whizzed back to the States. That was in 1975, and he's not made it back since. So the man who filled the covers of both Time and Newsweek remained an enigma to most of us. Last year, while Bob Harris was in the States, Whistle Test tracked Bruce down at a gig in New Haven, and within 10 minutes of him coming off stage, Bob cornered him in his dressing room.
I'd like to say, first of all, I enjoyed the show so much tonight, really. And in the theory of getting back what you put out, from the audience, you and the band seem to enjoy it so much.
Yeah, one of the initial things, I want to have fun. I just started out doing it for fun. And that's a big reason why I still do it. I'm lucky that I can make a living at it now, And the day it stops being fun probably be the day I stop doing it,
Because I get the impression with the layoffs that you had, you must have been building up and longing to get back on stage again.
Well, we were on stage. See, what happened was we had 3 years where we were out of commission, really, because of the legal thing. But during that time, we were doing small tours. We toured down south, and we toured the Midwest, and different parts of the country. And that's how we were keeping everybody, staying alive, keeping the band, paying everybody's rent and everybody's, things they needed. And so we were playing during that time. We did, I think, 4 tours during that 3-year layoff. And then took about 11 months to do the album. So that was about the time span,
Yes, I'd like to talk to you about your roots, Bruce, because 2 times I've seen you. At the Roxy, I remember you did Manfred Mann's Pretty Flamingos, one of the songs that you did that night, and you did 2:45 tonight, and I noticed there's a bit of 40 Miles of Bad Road crept into the list. So you're obviously in the middle of the rock and roll thing, but diverse as well in the 60s too. What actually are your roots musically?
Well, I was 9 years old, my mother had on Elvis Presley, so that was the first blast, and it was the kind of thing you'd come down and go to school, and the radio would always be on in the kitchen every morning, whatever the top 40 station was, and so she was always listening to music, and I guess the early rock and roll stations, and because I was only 9, and I remember when I saw Elvis, it affected me enough to go out and get a guitar, and try to play it, which I couldn't do because I wanted to play it right away. And in those days, when you went to take lessons, it was some crazy song or something. So I gave up till I was 13, and the English thing happened in America, the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Animals, and and that was a time when I was, in my teens, at 65, I was 15, 16. So there was that. And then what happened is, then I sort of went back, in a funny kind of way, to the things that the early Spectre things, which was early 60s. I was 12. I went back and I remembered them, in the back of my mind, 1955 I was 5, 56 I was 6. But I went back, to that stuff because it was just the stuff that was ringing most true to me at the time, because there was a strange period in music from the late 60s into the early 70s. I wasn't connecting with too much of what was going on, and that sort of, formulated, at the time of Born to Run, I was listening to a lot of Phil Spector and Dwayne Eddy and just your sort of traditional, for me, a rock and roll guitar sound. That was, that was Dwayne Eddy, or that was Peter Townsend, the chords, and I was not that blues influenced, I was never that into blues. I was into the soul stuff, into the R&B artists.
Because I've seen you play twice. Once this evening, of course, and once at the Roxy, like 3 years ago. And there's a difference now, isn't there, Bruce, in terms of the way you're putting yourself across on stage? I mean, I notice there's more guitar.
Tonight, yeah, what happened is on the record there was the tone of the material was suited more to the guitar, which is a little rougher, cooler sound, and the saxophone, which is saxophone's a very warm sound. You know, it's much warmer. And it's more urban. And the stuff on the new album was not that urban. You know, it wasn't that urban-centered material.
The album was Darkness album, Bruce, was painstakingly put together, wasn't it? I mean, you said 11 months.
In the making?
Yeah.
It was, let me think. It was more fun than Born to Run. You know, Born to Run was really hard. You know. Darkness was, it took a long time, but it was not, we recorded a lot of songs, recorded about 30 songs, and what would happen is I'd write a song, and then I'd write like 4 songs, and they would be a progression up, and the 5th song, well, that would be like song number 2 on the album, and then I'd like write 4 more, and like the 9th song, then I'd be at a place where that was like the 3rd song on the album, and meanwhile all these other songs, they'd be like transitional material, you know, to help you get to a particular place, you know. And so that's sort of the way the record was done. The actual recording of the songs did not take that long. Like on the record, Darkness on the Edge of Town, that's like all live in the studio, you know. That's vocals and band, everybody's playing live. Streets of Fire is mostly live. Something in the Night, that was a song that we did very first night in the studio. We did it as a demo tape, and that's all live. So like there's like 3 or so things that are like actually mostly live. It did not take no more than 1 or 2 days to record, you know, some one day, you know, majority of them. And what took a long time was the conception, you know.
You said you enjoyed it very much, Bruce, but did you feel pressure on this album too, from the events of the previous 2-3 years?
There was a certain pressure, you know. It was like, because I knew that we'd done Born to Run, and like it meant a lot to a lot of people, and a lot of people supported me on that thing. You know, a lot of people in the English press did, and a lot of people in America. You know, there was a lot of like supporters that really helped get it out, you know. And there's a pressure of not wanting to let them down, and you don't want to let yourself down, and you're testing yourself to see, like, you know, what you got to, you know, give. So those pressures are the main pressures that I felt, you know.
How did you react at the time to the promotion that CBS put behind Born to Run? Because it was a massive promotion campaign, wasn't it?
I think for those days it was, for 1975. For 1970, what is it, 7, 8? It's like what made it seem like a lot was the time of news recovers, you know. And it was a funny kind of thing. Plus, there was a lot written about it. There was a lot written in the press. You know, there was not like a lot of ads. It was like something that it was just focused on by the media in general at that time. So it seemed like I think a bigger campaign than it was. It was a big thing, you know, and.
To what extent did that affect the way you put together the campaign for Darkness on the Edge of Town?
Oh, I went through two periods. It was funny. It was like, at first, you know, I said, well, because I got blown away a little bit by the last time because I wasn't ready, you know, just wasn't ready for that whole particular thing, and I confused it a lot, you know, with like I labeled everything as being like bad, like publicity, bad, you know, or that's bad, that's no good, you know, promotion bad, you know, and you know, and what it was it wasn't bad. It was, you know, it was the kind of thing where like somebody like came, saw the band, liked it, went home, wrote a story about it or something, you know, said they liked it, you know. And, you know, we were a good band. We were playing real good at the time, and a lot of people got excited about it, and there wasn't a whole lot else going on at the time either, you know. And in the darkness, there was a point where I said, well, I got an idea. We'll do no ads, you know, like we'll just put it out, put it in the stores and do no ads. And then realized that, like, you know, that I was being like a jerk, you know. I was like, you know, ridiculous because I spent 11 months making an album, right? Which I've been waiting to make for 3 years, you know. And now I don't want to like help get it out to like the kid down the street, you know. It's like I don't want to help. I don't want to do, you know. Right. And I said, that's crazy, you know. And so then I said, well, let's do some stuff. I got into it, you know. I got into like promoting my album, you know. I said, this is my work, this is my life, this is 3 years of my life, and I'm into like I want to work it, you know. I want to get it out to like that last cat on that last block, you know, that last dude on, you know, on that last. I want to get it out to him. I want him to let him know it's there, and he can hear it and just make his decision on it. But like, if it don't get there, I don't want it to be my fault, you know. Like when Born to Run came out, we were popular like on the east, like on the west, like in the Midwest and down south and stuff. You know, we weren't hardly known at all. We're like brand new down there, like, you know, and like a new band, you know. And you're talking about over, you know, half of the United States, you know. And so we sort of said, well, let's work here, you know, let's work here until like we're established in our, you know, well, in our own different parts of our own country, you know, so that like, and then I guess we're gonna come over to, you know, Europe and England and stuff, you know.
Any idea when that'll be?
I don't know exactly when that'll be, you know. It's hard because like when I come over, it's like I don't want to do like 2 dates and like run home or run here, you know. Like, yeah, it's like anything else. I think you have to come over and you got to play. You know, play the towns, you know, just like the...
Yeah, so are you after a hit single now, though, Bruce? Because that's really the only thing that hasn't happened here.
Yeah, I'd like to have one. I'd like to get on AM radio and blast it all across the United States, you know? It's like, you know, that's like, I'd love it, you know? It's like, I want to, you know, blast it into them housewives' kitchens, badlands, you know? It's like that's, you know... I always wanted Born to Run. That was the one thing I was always disappointed in. It was the only thing that ever mattered. I always wanted Born to Run to be like a big hit single, you know, and it never was. And now we got Badlands out, and like I like that song, and I wanted it, you know, I wanted on that. When you get in that car, I want it, you know, and you hit that dial. Boom, 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 you know, it's like I want it, you know, I love it, you know. I never heard anything of my own on AM radio. So, yeah, you know, I'd like it a lot, you know. Right now I'm like, you know, it's like, if you want an audience, well, you gotta like get off your ass. You gotta go get it, because, you know, they're not gonna come, oh, hi, you know, walking around knocking on the door, hey, oh, you're so great, you know, they're not gonna, you know, that's like a bunch of jive, man, you know. It's like, if you want it, you better go take it, you better go work for it, you know, and that's what I'm interested in.
I think the obvious question to ask somebody who's been on stage for 3.5 hours in front of, 20,000 people, is how do you feel? Are you tired? I mean, is that too obvious for you?
No, I feel fine, you know.
What sort of routine do you get into on tour after shows? I mean, you must live at odd ends of the day.
I usually go home and I'll eat like dinner, you know, like around 2 a.m. or something, 2:30. And then sometimes I go out, you know, I take a walk or something. That's mainly, there's nothing open, you know. But I like to go out around the city at night and stuff. It's quiet and it's nice in the summertime. So I go out and do that, and I come back, and sometimes I'll read or, listen to some music and go to sleep, you know, about around, I guess I hit the hay around 5 or 6.
The question people ask always, fans, critics, whoever, is why don't you make a live record?
Well, I don't know, you know, I don't know that a live record, what we do at this point, a lot of it is about being there, you know, which is why we haven't done much television or much, too much of the video thing. A lot of it is, it allows too much distance. Like what our band is about breaking down distance. You know, it's the thing that we've always done since we started. And I think it's important that people, hey, they come out, you know, they come down, they go someplace where there's a bunch of other people. And then the other thing was a live record, a lot of times you're doing songs that you've done already. It's a little boring, I think, probably a little boring to work on, maybe, you know. But there are things that I want to re-record that, you know, I was unhappy with the original studio recordings of.
Such as?
The Darkness album, mainly. The Darkness record, which was a record that I thought had some of my best, a certain type of song. I had some of my best songs. Had a lot of good ideas, but I always felt that it was a little dry recording-wise. I felt like I oversang, and that we kind of underplayed and oversang a little bit, you know.
Mm.
So that stuff sounds quite a bit different in performance, and I'd be interested in getting different versions of a lot of those songs.
What do you hope that people will sort of take away with them from a concert?
If it's a good night out, that's great. That's basically what it's meant to be, you know. People come and they can put aside whatever their worries are for a minute maybe and enjoy themselves, you know, and dance a little bit, you know, listen to the band, sing along a little bit. You know, I think I try to present a lot of different things so that it can be something. I think you could come and maybe it'll change the way you think about something, you know, maybe about the way you think about your life or your job or your friends or you know, I think you can do that. You know, we try to do it well enough so that it can do that. And at the same time, like I said, it could be just, you know, if it's a good date or something, you know, that's good too, you know, either whatever kind of people want and whatever they want to take from it, whatever they need at that moment is what I would hope that it would be, you know, if you come and you need, you know, some inspiration maybe, you know, I hope that maybe you can find a little bit, you know, of it. Or if you just want to dance or if you want to take your girl out, you know, then, you know, that's there too. You know, you want to laugh or you want to think or you want to cry a little bit. Hopefully, it should be a combination of all those things, you know, I would hope.
Was the video kind of sort of forced upon you in the sense that MTV has changed things a great deal in America, hasn't it? And it is a good way to give yourself a leg up towards a big hit, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's been important to, certainly here in America, it's been important to a lot of people. I think it's probably easier to have a hit with a first record.
But it's not something you relish really that much, is it?
I don't know. I think I guess my attitude is it reaches a lot of people, and basically I'm interested in doing something in that field. I don't know what. Like I really haven't figured it out, mainly because it presents a set of unique problems which are very different than the way that I usually work, you know. One is very expensive most of the time, particularly since the production values of the videos have gotten so high. And they're made very quickly. You know, they're made very fast, in a day or so. So there's this enormous input, you know, an enormous financial input, and it's kind of a real roll of the dice, you know, and the way that I work is very different. I'll go in the studio and I'll spend a night, and if I don't like what I did, I throw it out, you know, and you know, basically you can afford to do that, you know, and I work very slow. I don't work fast, you know, and I work slow because I enjoy having the control over what I'm going to say and what my work is, you know, and I work somewhat collaboratively, but not near as much as, say, a video, you know, with a director and all this other stuff, you know. And generally on my records, I'm the director, you know. And So outside of, there's those problems, and then there's just the basic aesthetic problems of, if you're going to do a video, there's a few basic things that most people do. You know, one, you illustrate the song. That usually comes out bad, you know, because, you know, people should be allowed the freedom of their own imagination, for one thing. You know, it's like a song like, let's say like My Father's House or something was on the last record. And then, like I said, everybody sees a different house or a mansion on the hill. They see a different, you know, they see different fields. They see different, and my songs are filled with a lot of cinematic detail. And so I don't really consider having anything extra. Like when I write the song, it's finished. It's done. That's it. That's the music. Music is evocative, you know. It's meant to like evoke emotions and personal responses in the listener. And so when you do a video, either you illustrate the song, which in my case I can't do, because it's like, you know, you're going to paint a mustache on it or something, you know, and or you create another story to go over the song, you know, and that's kind of silly because there's a story already there. That's the story I wanted to tell. So to create another story to go along with it, that doesn't make sense either, you know. I've spent 20 years learning how to write so that when you hear a song, you get the information you need, you know, you get the experience and the emotion that you need. And I write with a lot of detail, and I'm proud of doing it, and I think that I do it well, you know. And so, you know, I'm hesitant to mess with that. So I just kind of respect the integrity of the song, you know, a little bit. So, you know, I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but I'd like to do something with it just because, but on the other hand, because it is a powerful tool. It is something that you can reach a lot of people and different types of people with.